Hello, and welcome to another episode of Don't Be Kurt. I'm Kurt of Don't Be Kurt, and I am basically just a big technology nerd that happens to like cars, photography, and I decided to start this channel to kind of talk about my love of cars I like, cars that people drive, and maybe I can bring a little something unique to this world of car journalism, car YouTubing. I don't know what you want to call this. So today, we're going to do something a little different. So in the past, I've talked mainly about vehicles that I own. Actually, only vehicles that I've owned. There's nothing that I've talked about other than that. But we have a unique opportunity today to talk about EVs, and in EVs in particular we're talking about are ones produced by Nissan. So I got a friend of mine who recently purchased a Nissan Ariya and offered me the opportunity to take a look and go for a ride with him. So I'm going to kind of give some of my thoughts. But before we get into that, let's go into the history of Nissan and EVs. So many of you are probably aware of the Nissan Leaf and probably think that's where Nissan's journey began, but believe it or not, Nissan first entered the world of EVs back in 1947 with the production of the Tama. I might not be pronouncing that correctly, but bear with me. Now, one could say that wasn't necessarily Nissan, as I think it was Prince Automotive that developed this car back in 47, but Nissan bought Prince, hence the Skyline, yada, yada, yada. So we'll go with it. So the Tama was basically used as a taxi back in the day in post-war Japan. During that time, fossil fuels were a scarcity in Japan, and the Tama was a means to an end as an electric car to kind of get people to and fro. By the time 1950 rolled around, fuel had stabilized in Japan, and the Tama was discontinued. From that point on, there really isn't too much that I found notable, except for 1996, I believe it was. Check my notes here. Nissan came out with the Nissan Prairie Joy. Of course, this was a Japan-only release car. Most notable for this car is that it was the first EV to have a lithium-ion battery. So the Prairie Joy was used to do Arctic research. So it was a vehicle that existed in extreme cold, and it was used for quite a while from what I'm understanding here. So the fact that they were doing this and then was doing some extreme cold, kind of might make you scratch your head of considering the Leaf and its experience in cold weather and stuff like that, but I digress. So after the Prairie Joy, there were some other concept cars that Nissan made here and there, and really it wasn't until 2010 when the Leaf was released as a true mainstream automobile for Nissan, for the masses. A lot of times, especially back in the 2010 era, you knew of the Leaf, you knew of Tesla, and I think at the time also the Ford Focus EV was mixed in with that. The Leaf wasn't really all that much of a long-range EV car when it was released. I believe its range was around 100 miles or so. It sold well. I mean, granted, it had some other issues with its battery and charging, and the fact that the battery wasn't actively cooled or heated, so that kind of led to some poor performance in extreme temperatures, in regular winter temperatures or summer temperatures. However, Nissan has been in the game for EV for a little while. So that brings us all the way to now, where we're now talking about their latest release, which is the Nissan Ariya. So this was released in the US market. I believe you could have pre-ordered it last year, and I think folks are just now accepting delivery of it recently. Most notably for my friend, I think he picked his up about 2 to 3 weeks ago as of this filming. So let's talk about the Nissan Ariya. So the Nissan Ariya, it's Nissan's latest entry into the EV market. It's essentially a crossover SUV powered by EV motors. The model that my friend has, which is a good point, I never did ask him which version he had, so let me text him. So the Nissan Ariya comes with about, in its current form that's released, 239 horsepower, 221 foot-pounds of torque. as it stands, I think that's competitive with what you would see in more of your sport luxury crossover SUVs right now. So competes fairly well with the Audi Q5, BMW X3, and the Acura RDX. Those of which range anywhere from 248 horsepower with the X3 to 280 plus in the RDX, with that Q5 falling somewhere in between. I think around 252 actually. So from a power standpoint, if you ignore this being an EV or whatever, the price point and power point matches those type of SUVs. After riding in my friends, I would say just based on the quality and the feel of it, I mean, I don't think I feel any sort of way between hopping in an X3, which I do own. It's not in the garage, but it's over there, which you can't see, and hopping in there. I mean, it was pretty comfortable, and the seats were soft. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert, and I'm not going to say that it's the same material. Maybe BMW is a higher grade than what Nissan's putting in the Ariya or whatever. However, I didn't feel like a noticeable step off between the two, so I feel comfortable saying it's competing in that space. Now, maybe this could have been labeled an infinity vehicle, and the price point would make more sense, but it is what it is. Nissan vehicles are, you know, in the same price range as your luxury brands. There are several versions though of the Ariya, which range from $44,000 at the starting point of the Engage all the way to $61,000 for the Platinum Plus. So that kind of goes with what I was just saying, that it seems to be competing in the range of your standard ICE luxury SUVs. Now, on the other flip side of that, its EV competitors, I believe it's just the Tesla Model Y and the Ford Mach-E. I don't have those prices in front of me, but I do think from what I recall in the Mach-E, at least on its lesser forms, not necessarily the GT all-out performance model, it would be the Ariya is pretty price competitive and might be a better value than the Mach-E. Of course, the electricity range, mileage range on this Ariya does vary based on the variant you get. So the Evolve Plus and Power Plus and Premier models, which are kind of all the ones that are in the middle a little bit in this one, have a range that's about 289. The Platinum Plus, which I assume it must be heavier, has a range of just 200 and looks like 265 miles. When this thing was first announced, they claimed a range of 304, but I am not seeing which version it gets. And after talking with my friend who has it, you know, so I saw when he first got it and we got together again not too long ago, he was suggesting he's not quite seeing the range. So stay tuned to that. Maybe there's some more to this with the Ariya. Now, with that said, you know, as I said earlier, the Leaf in its original form was 100 miles. The Leaf second gen that came out in 2017 or so, it had an improved range of 226. So the Ariya in its current form is Nissan's longest range EV. So let's take a look inside. So I'm going to go through and jump through some clips as I recorded some footage of riding around the car with my friend Andrew as he showed me different features and showed how the Ariya, how it drove, how the Pro Pilot performed, and basically just kind of walk me around the vehicle. So hang on, we'll go to some clips and then we'll be right back to kind of talk about what we saw.
And that's the color they always show it in.
What color is it? It's all the colors.
All the colors of rainbow.
See? As I shift the camera.
By pushing the talk switch. Say phone, navigation, audio, information.
You all might be wondering, I'm not in a German car.
Made in Nippon. Got heads-up display.
And then not a rear view mirror, it's a display.
Go either way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, otherwise my wife wouldn't drive it.
Oh, this is unnervingly smooth.
Yeah.
So this one, I guess, for Electrify America and all your different charging stations work out with this vehicle?
Yeah, CCS.
CCS?
The Chatamo that the Leafs had is officially defunct.
Ah. This is very, there's somebody who is driving, who just was getting out of an E30 on a 31-year-old car and getting into something brand new. This is extremely smooth. I like it. As with many other EV products and modern ICE cars, this does have some driving assist features that some would call autopilot. Wink, wink, Tesla. This has what's called ProPilot 2.0. So this is Nissan's driver assistance technology. So the Ariya has it equipped with there, and we did test it out. And surprisingly, once everything was settled, it was able to do hands-free driving as long as you're looking straight ahead. It does watch your eyes, and it can do ramp-to-ramp driving. So the car, once you get on the highway and stuff like that, it can take control, it can change lanes, and it can change lanes onto an off-ramp, by which, once you get on that ramp, be ready to take control because it is going to let you know, take the wheel, as you'll see in this video. So now we're going to sample Nissan's driving technology, the ProPilot.
So this thing, see at night it shows up a lot. This whole thing turns green. That whole strip. But it doesn't show up during the day. And then when you go into ProPilot 2, it should be blue right now.
Oh, cool. So the whole strip changes based on your driving mode.
Yeah.
Very neat.
Which is not useful during the day. At least not as... It's a cooler car at night.
So ProPilot, that is, I forgot. They have different levels of self-driving.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what level it is, but I do know that from what I've read that Nissan was pretty advanced here. Like, can this change lanes, or does it?
Yeah. So I have to have a hand on it.
Yeah.
But it'll change the lane for me. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Not like you could tell, but there's some other stuff too. I think it has what's called trip assist, but I haven't gone on a trip to use it, so I don't know if that like gets you off at the right exit or something. But it is watching me at all times.
Yeah.
The strange thing is, in the settings, I saw that you could turn off the so like maybe it watching you to make sure you're looking at the road is optional. I don't know. There is a setting to turn it off.
Interesting. So now we're in blue mode, where when it goes blue, and then now blue mode's over. Cannot detect lane ahead. Now, I would say as a St. Louis person here, this is well painted here, but I would agree that we have some roads here where I don't know where the lanes are either, but this seems to be pretty clear, so it's still learning.
When everything turns blue, if it will. Here. I actually take my hands off. It'll eventually turn blue, I think. It's when it judges me, not based on my hands, but on my eyes. To show you that
one. Hey, we're close to where the Audi's living for now.
Who's living?
The Audi. All right, so we're about to go sample the ProPilot here with an address there to see if it really will get off at the given exit and do what it needs to do. So we'll be right back on the highway and right back off if this thing works right. All right.
Keep right after 3 miles onto Southwest Avenue towards Southwest Avenue.
So round 2, we're gonna give the car, we're going a little more distance and giving the ProPilot a little more chance to settle in. Well, that's an angry warning. All right, now we're blue. Cruising at about, 60 miles per hour like a respectable human being. All right. We got minimal input, car driving itself. Hey, look, a traffic officer in St. Louis. That's unheard of.
They must have been doing something really bad.
Yeah. I never see them. All right, so we got the full screen now view of the Nissan infotainment's GPS screen. Blue on the steering wheel. So now we sit back. I will check back in when we get closer to see if this thing actually does what it's claimed to be able to do.
16.
So
It says there's a little thing to follow route. Split ahead, blank, some button to follow route. Am I missing something?
I don't know. I don't see any other buttons to press.
Take the second exit on the right onto Southwest Avenue towards Southwest.
Oh, here it is. Found it. Now push that button.
There you guys go. So that squiggly button is
Prepare
there.
to exit. Prepare to exit.
Lane change assist canceled. Split ahead. Hit the button to follow route. Hands on wheel. Okay. And we're coming up on Southwest where it's saying we need to exit.
Take the next exit on the right.
It's telling us to take the exit, but it should be telling itself.
Turned on the blinker without me.
It turned on, okay. Automatic blinker control.
Turn right after 900 feet.
Everything else is turned off now.
All right, so it exited, it did all the stuff, and then human control resumes. So, all right. That's kind of cool. And of course, obviously, my friend here is watching this other YouTuber, Rich Rebuilds, which clearly, and I'm gonna flip the camera, we don't look the same. I think I'm better looking than Rich Rebuilds. And here we are back with a car. Well, not all my cars are broken. This one's certainly not. This is probably way too new compared to everything else that's reviewed here. So now the multicolored Technicolor car is looking greenish and blackish. But here we are with the Nissan Ariya. Very, very sleek, very, very svelte. This little fill-up area.
I've used this before.
Very nice.
Got the hidden space too. You put your valuables down there.
Variables, and I guess that's the built-in charging cables.
Yeah.
So, did you get this with a full charge?
I did.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this is not bad. I guess the trunk is about the same as the X3. If with the slope, it's kind of slopey, but this is enough to hold enough luggage for a family of 4 in here. And you can close it with the remote, which is better than I could say for my own vehicle. And from back here, it's like a grayish almost color. See how well that might be.
So one of the weirdest design things, if you come to this angle,
Yeah.
no, like go stand over there and
Yeah.
point it this way. It's got like a fat roll right here.
Oh, yeah, it does.
I don't know if that's aerodynamic or what, but it is a little weird.
It probably is. I
that
mean,
angle once I'm like, oh, what is that? That's got like a fat roll sticking out.
it is a very interesting angle.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So from outside, it looks a lot smaller, but on the inside, it has a lot of space going for it. Yeah, this is cool. So it's dual shark fins here. We just pointed out here. Hey, comment on what you guys think that's for. I know one would definitely have to be for like maybe Sirius XM, but what would the second one be for?
Actually,
Well, let's go see what's under.
first look.
First look, what is underneath the hood of an Ariya? Is it a frunk?
There is no front, I don't believe. If there is, I'll be mad no one told me about it.
There's your yellow tab right there. Yes, it's electric. Yeah, I have no idea what any of these things do. Maybe this is why I'm not rich rebuild. It has things.
Well, there's a 12-volt battery.
Yes.
I figured that one out.
And the motor is down deep in there somewhere. I guess that's what that is. This is a thing. That's another thing. There are your things that I know about. So, brake booster, your windshield washer fluid. Another thing over here.
Coolant?
Yeah, so it must be coolant. This must be what keeps the batteries cool. The AC condenser. I mean, and yeah, something. Yeah, you're right. Interesting. It's like a felt material, very flat, but it's a electrical car standard thing. All right, Nissan. I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan. And that's that video. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, what is the challenge here for me?
So to show off one of my favorite features that differentiates the Ariya from most EVs, I want you to play Where's the Charging Port?
Okay. So this is a first-person view camp shot, as I'm going to find. So I'm going to assume this was a charging port.
Yeah, you knew I was challenging you, so you knew it wasn't in the normal spot.
Right.
That would be it, yes. Which means I can actually charge street side.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I just peeped that.
yeah. Most of them it's on the driver's side, which is stupid if you ask me.
Right. Which,
Just push it, it'll open.
and cool, that is not an electronic doodad thing, because a lot of those that I'm worried about, they have these fancy motors. I'm like, in the ice and it's frozen, this is a good way to get caught. So this is actually pretty cool that you don't have a motor to break in a bad winter storm. You can pry on if you needed to. Really neat. Now, I've avoided most of the reviews for the Ariya until I actually saw it in person. So after my friend brought his car to me to look at, then I went back and read the reviews, and some of them are kind of weird. I didn't know that the interior was kind of divisive. I mean, yes, it has capacitive touch buttons, but I think it's a very clean design. Maybe the gap between the driver's seat and the passenger seat up front, I would like a divider, because as I mentioned in the video, you could have a large bag or whatever, man or woman, excuse me, men can have carry-all bags too. And I could see a situation with a bag rolling under your feet and you're not be able to hit the brake or gas pedal, or not gas, sorry, the accelerator pedal, and that could get in your way. It could cause some problems. Outside of that, I mean, the touch of the seats were nice and soft. The plastics didn't feel like they were hard plastics or whatever, so it was very comfortable inside. Of course, I didn't take any video of the rear seat, but I did sit in there, and they're rear heated in the version my friend has. We went out to eat with my friend and his wife, and my wife and I, all four of us adults in the car. I sat behind Andrew on purpose, I think he's about 6'3", 6'4", and I'm about 5'10", 5'11", and I was perfectly comfortable sitting behind him. So it's got good room in the car, and I think as a family EV, at the price point it is right now, I think it's an excellent selection. Granted, we're still waiting in the United States for the EV charging situation to get a little bit better here in the Midwest. But here in St. Louis, at least, I'd be comfortable owning an EV, and it's a pretty good car. Would I buy one? Yeah. Actually, a couple years ago, when I first heard the Ariya, the Nissan dealership, I guess when I went there, had no idea what I was talking about. So I had some interest at the time. So I'll be watching to see how this goes, because as a commuter car, just driving around the city, I can't see a better choice really for what I would use it for. As for anybody else, so far in the couple weeks of me kind of living through my friend owning it, I believe it's a good choice for anybody. So good job, Nissan. Full disclosure, I used to be a super Nissan fanboy, so I've had lots of Nissan products. You lost me during the Gone era, but maybe I'll see my way back. Anyways, guys, if you like these type of reviews or whatever, let me know in the comments. I mean, I do intend on doing a few more of these, and if these gets me to get more of you to watch, I will certainly put a lot more effort. If there's any cars that regular people drive, so not like regular car reviews, but like the stuff that, you know, people go to the dealership to buy, let me know. I'd be more than happy to go see what's what and talk about them with you. But anyways, guys, if you like this, please subscribe. Please interact with me. I'm on the socials. I have email, whatever. I love interacting with folks, and I thank you all for taking the time to watch. And we will catch you later. Peace.
Oh, yeah.